Hey guys, Kobe here. Welcome back to another raid video. No sunglasses today. My eye has kind of healed. I'm about 90% healed. All good, guys. So no sunglasses anymore. Although I do have them right here, right next to me, in case for future videos. I think I'll keep them on for summons. But other than that, I want you guys to look at me when I'm doing the champion, guys, the news, everything that there is for raid. We're gonna cover one of the brand new faction unity champions today that is available on the test server. He's very unique, has a very important part in his skill set that will allow a lot of the new players out there to benefit just with the one addition of having another one of the champions within the Skinwalkers faction together with this guy. So Bolint Freewalker is the one that's going to be featured today in the video, guys. So faction unity champions, very difficult to acquire, are featured through prism summons. Most probably will have them starting tomorrow, I believe. I'm thinking tomorrow this is gonna start, and then maybe not actually. I'm not sure when they'll actually do it, but I'm just guessing, similar to what they did in the past, and they'll feature this guy through maybe something like a 10x, and if you happen to get him, then great. But Bolint Freewalker, why is he good? I think he's a very solid faction unity champion because of this part of his skill set where it says when one faction ally is together with this guy, so whenever an ally hits an enemy, has a 10% chance of placing one stun debuff for one turn on enemy. So what does this actually mean? This basically allows, you'll have Bolint Freewalker in your team, you have any other Skinwalker in your team together with him, and then another 3 champions, right? It can be any other 3 champions. Suddenly, every single champion in the team now has a 10% chance of placing a stun debuff for one turn on enemies, okay? This, from my understanding, is subject to accuracy. Does not say cannot be resisted. So this is subject to accuracy of the champion that will be trying to apply the debuffs. So with that in mind, I mean, you can do what you want in terms of having accuracy or not on your champions if you want to have the overall chance to play the debuff. But this allows basically for different combos to exist where you basically stun locking the enemy. Stun locking is a term used in, well, back in the World of Warcraft days, where you would just control enemies over and over and lock them in a state of stunned status, okay, negative effect status. So stun lock, that was the word used back then. So actually still used. I mean, World of Warcraft is still going strong. So one faction ally. 2, when an ally inflicts a critical hit, fills the turn meter by 5%, and then 3, allies ignore 30% of defense against enemies under stun. Okay, this is very strong because, well, you'll be stunning enemies for the duration, but do you really need to have 3 Skinwalker allies within your team? I don't know. He also benefits his allies when, if they have a multi-hit skill, each subsequent hit after the first deals 15% more damage. I find that very nice, and I also think that this will allow for basically teams to exist with Bolint plus 1 Skinwalker and then another 3 champions of whatever faction to basically push through dungeons very easily and then just beat the boss with whatever kind of combo you want to be doing. So very interesting. His other skills are a double hitting attack, which can do a stun at 100% chance, and then also if you have 3 faction allies, this will also ignore 50% of the target's resistance, which is insane in my opinion. So if they have 500 resistance with this skill, with 3 faction allies, they have 250 basically when you use this skill. He'll also turn meter fill very fast with this one. So with this turn meter fill, 15% for each stun debuff, you'll try it on the spider and basically have him well, gain back this skill much quicker because of how much turn meter he's gonna get. But also, I mean, it's only through this skill, so I don't see this as being that strong. And then the one faction ally before attacking has 100% chance of removing all buffs, so this will also be a buff removal skill as well. His A2 is a single target, then AoE targeting skill that can also apply decreased defense. Very nice. And then A1 after the second hit heals all allies and can also grant an extra turn. Very solid kit overall. I've built him with Savage, although I don't feel like he's a great Damage dealer, I would probably build him with War Master, or if you're having issues with accuracy, even with the 3 faction allies, you can build him with Eagle Eye. But Savage here with some Savage gear as well. Hell Smasher with some Savage gear as well, just to get him to see some solid numbers. But overall, I don't see him being like a huge damage dealer. He's HP based, but I find that he's spot in the game is more so as being a support with the decreased defense and also the ability to remove buffs and apply stuns with just one ally in the team of the Skinwalkers faction. So let's get the showcase started. So guys, with just 2 champions now, basically what I do here is I unlocked the 1 faction ally skill, which is removing buffs from enemies, and then also the ability to stun regardless of whether you have a stun set or not. So this is pretty cool. I'll just have Wukong here. What you can do is also have like a bomb champion here. Well, if you happen to have Nishak here, he's just gonna be amazing. And then I mean, if you have these 3, then you can add literally any other champion in the squad, and it's gonna make you push through to you know, all the way to the end of the boss. So actually I want to try it on hard mode 10 with this god. Nishak, by the way, can basically solo this with really good gear, really good combo of gear. But I just want to show you guys the how much power he gives to the whole team just by having this faction unity. Only the double unity here, although I'll just throw just 1 more there who's probably gonna die. Well, yeah, will die, but the whole point is to unlock the full power, and then we'll start removing members of the team and see how that's gonna work out. The biggest problem is gonna be surviving the boss basically, so I wonder how that's gonna go. So let's see a little bit of his damage with those stats that he has. Do not expect anything huge here. So see the stun over there? That is basically because of the unity. All right, so here we do a big AoE, no stuns. Let's see, let's try the A1 defense down, no stuns. We have 2 stuns already. Let's see, Wukong hit them a little bit. Oh no, actually, because he couldn't kill it, turned it into a sheep. Here we can actually do a buff here. Let's try and stun. Wonder if the bomb explosion actually can trigger the stun. So let's see them. Boom, 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 boom. No, it doesn't trigger it. But let's just leave it on auto. The damage numbers coming from our boy, the bovine champ, it's not that amazing, but get those extra turns. The enemies are stunned all the way through. Basically, they won't have a chance to react and kill any of our members. The biggest problem will be just surviving the boss, which is usually the biggest problem for the majority of players. So once you have something that can control through the waves, you should be able to beat the boss, because you'll send a champion in there for one specific job to be able to beat the boss. So for dragon, you need to have something that can do poisons or reflect poisons. For ice golem, you need HP burns. For spider, well, it's combination of multi-hit, enemy max health, or HP burns plus lots of activators, and there's no rounds in there, so it's just fighting the boss. And then for fire knight, basically need freezes. So we actually got hit here, but it's fine, because we're able to push right through to the boss. So you see how much control you get just because of that 10% chance to stun. And also bovine here, with the cool part of his kit being that he enables everybody to have that chance to stun. The rounds are extremely easy. The boss part, I mean, you just need maybe something that can survive. So here, maybe Nisha can survive. I don't know. There we go. Wukong also helps a little bit. We need to steal the increased attack there in order to survive. So here, I would have probably needed Nisha to have like high stats in order to do this, and then maybe Bolint in a more supportive instead of the Savage set. So if I switch his gear to maybe a Relentless set, maybe we can see him more as the control that he's meant to be. So you saw the damage there wasn't that great. Let me switch it up to the more realistic set that I could see him being featured in, which is gonna be the Relentless set, and I'll be right back. So right now I've optimized his build a little bit better to have him as a control champion. As you saw, the damage output from him is not that amazing, but what you can get out of him is with increased speed, like anything above 200 for support type champions is great. He has a little bit of damage for the 100% crit rate if you want to have more Skinwalker champions in there, but you don't need to. I've tried to optimize his health value and also his accuracy a little bit more. But again, this is subject to how many Skinwalkers you have within the same squad. And the Relentless set will allow him to get that extra turn, possibly other than the other chance for an extra turn from his kit. And also the fact that he can get 10 meter boost if you have 2 faction allies from the Skinwalker faction in there. But it's not required. Basically, the 1 faction ally is what is key here to enable everybody else to do the stuns. And then in terms of masteries, you switch it around to War Master. I think that's the way to go, basically, for him to be maximum damage compared to his damage output if you had Helm Smasher. So let's try him out in Relentless, and I'll have this squad in there. So multiple different epics. We have some multi-hits coming through with Sinesha Skull Crown, and then we have the level 4 Steel Skull to give us the faction bonus. You don't need to use these specific epics, but if we compare it to the usefulness of having multiple champions in stun sets, he basically gives you a stun set for free, plus the chance he has himself to apply the stun, which is basically gonna be constant. He has such a low cooldown of 3 turns on his stun ability that it feels like it's an overkill to have that additional chance to stun. But with just having to simply add 1 champion of that faction in there to get you to have that chance, it feels like a waste not to do that. Will I be going for summons for this champion? No, I don't feel like he is an end game champion by any means. If the stun was unresistible and also didn't proc cheap, this would have been a different discussion, but obviously this will be changing the way that PvP works if that was the case, but it's not, so he kind of falls off in that sense. So you see how quickly we can go through the waves if we have something that controls. There's many champions in the game that have a 100% chance to stun, so he's not unique in any sense by that. So I don't feel like I need to put an investment or you know, just money into the game just to get a champion that has basically a chance to stun, a defense down, 10 meter field, something like that. If I could grade him out of 10, I would probably give him a 5 for end game. Okay, just because he's useful for the rounds, but not the bosses so much because stuns don't do much. But for newer players, he's probably closer to an 8 or a 9 out of 10 because of how easy he's gonna make progressing through the different rounds of the dungeons that you might be stuck on with just adding 1 Skinwalker champion in there. And there's many support Skinwalkers out there that can work great alongside with him. But of course, the MVP will be using Wukong, who is basically free for many of us who have been playing for quite some time. And he was featured through promo codes for many newer players also in the past. So if you do happen to get him, maybe 1 lucky summon, he should be like, you know, deserving a really nice spot in your teams for pushing through the dungeons and getting to, you know, a better progression and finding the right dungeon difficulty for you guys. So overall, I like him, but not so much for the end game players. I don't see the value for the end game players. The newer players will definitely see value from this guy. It's not that we're always gonna have, you know, like champions like Teox, like this guy here who does so much damage for having a Lizardman team alongside with him. So we will have some of these faction unity champions that are feeling a little bit less so comparing them together in terms of the offers that you'll see available in order to try and get him, like prism summons and then maybe like a 10x. It's not gonna be, you know, the same amount of temptation if they you know, if they did it for this guy. So this was the video, guys. These are my thoughts on the champion. What do you guys think? Let me know down below. Thank you all, and I'll see you guys in the next one. See ya.